Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Cool Colas here to bring you the hustler's perspective. I hope everybody is having a good day today. I hope you all got a chance to enjoy this nice summer weather out here today on this Wednesday afternoon or even the daytime. It's pretty nice. So, for all you all who love heat, today was your day to try to enjoy that. But let's get into the topic here. So, I want to talk to you all today about the 10 ways in which you can make money while you are unemployed. So, before I get into the nitty gritty details of how you can make money and the ways that you can go about it, and then the direction that you can go as far as the links and how to get started with some of these hustles per se or ways to make money, I want to tell you all a bit of a story as far as my inspiration behind why I felt the need why I felt the need to create this topic for you guys. So, first of all, as you all may know, I'm from the Detroit area. And if you heard in the previous videos, I told you all that I grew up there and then I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is where Western Michigan University is at. I told you all that I moved there for school, and then when I was done with school, I moved to Grand Rapids because I got a job offer out there. So when I moved to Grand Rapids, I had this job and I was paid 55K as a salary and with a $5,000 bonus to begin with when I first got to the job. So some people may hear this and they think that's probably not a lot of money. And I mean, that I think that is probably understandable. And I think some people hear this and they're like, well, that's a lot of money. Either way, it doesn't really matter. All I'm trying to simply convey here is the fact that I had a job that paid that amount. And now what I'm going to tell you all is that I had a bunch of expenses. So it kind of summarizes why I have said in the past that I think of things, especially financial things, in these ratios, for a lack of better words. And I think of them in ratios because it's basically a total sum of your net worth. And it's a total sum of all the debt that you have, which include expenses and things like that, and all the income that you have coming in, which would include assets if you do or do not have them, of course, and what they sum up money wise together when you add and subtract them. So, in other words, if you have a ton of expenses, but then you make a lot of money as well too, you may be negating how much you could really be taking home. So that's why in the past I've said it's all about how much you save. Anyway, so when I was at this company again, I was making 55K, and I didn't really have much of a direction as to what I was going to do with my life besides work this job where I was making a nice bit of money and then just take care of myself and things like that. So eventually, what ended up happening is I lost that job, and when I lost that job, I was out of a job for at least 8 9 months, something like that. And I had to find ways to, to make money to be able to make up all of my expenses. So I had a car note. I had rent. Rent was really high, or is really high here, and it's getting higher. It does everywhere. And I had these student loans that were going to be creeping up. I had credit card bills. I had a phone bill. I had tons of other expenses. I could probably tell you all day everything that I was paying for, and I had to find some way in order to continue to pay that because it was very easy to do that on a 55K salary, or a known 55K salary, because of course that wasn't including when you take out taxes for benefits and things like that. But anyways, so my point is that my salary was able to take care of all of those expenses that I had. So at the point where I lost that job, I didn't have that income taking care of those expenses, and I had to find a way to take care of them so they wouldn't either put me in a bad situation or so that I could kind of level out what was and was not necessary at that point in my life. So basically, I did a lot of research, a whole lot of research, because the bottom line was my parents taught me nothing about financial literacy. And school, of course, doesn't teach anybody about financial literacy whatsoever. So being having those two things happen to me, and then losing a job, and also being in a city where I didn't really know anyone except my girlfriend. I had no connections. I had no way to understand financial literacy, and I had no guidance in what was going to lead me in the right direction. So really, despite the fact that I had this grand college degree, despite the fact that I did all this hard work when I was in school, despite the fact that I went to a prestigious high school, despite the fact that I got a degree after being in school for 7 years, and I'm not afraid to admit it, after being in school 7 years to get a degree in chemical engineering, which was very difficult, none of that meant anything as far as how lost I was and how much I did not understand the direction that my life was going to take. And mind you, I still don't know what direction it's going to take, but at least I have an idea at this point in my head of where I see myself getting to and the things that I value. Then I didn't really know what was going to go on in my life. I just thought I was just going to work for the rest of my life and then try to retire if, I had enough money to at a certain point, and that was just going to be the end of it. But what I learned through the situation was there's so many other things out there for me, and so many other things that I was, that I'm capable of doing and capable of getting accomplished. And it really tested my level of resourcefulness. And I'm not saying that other people can't do the same thing. And I'm not saying that other people don't have the, I guess, don't have the same or do have the same situation. I'm just simply saying in my particular situation, I was at the point where I had nothing to go off of. So at that point, if you ever get in a situation like me, the first thing you probably think is, what am I going to do here? I feel like I'm probably just going to lose everything. But see, I don't have that mentality. I have a hustler's mentality. My belief is that I need to get up and I need to go get it. Now, mind you, the situation, everything that happened was definitely not my fault. It was definitely out of my control. And it was definitely not something I would wish on someone else, mind you. However, by spinning that into a positive, I figured, well, this is going to be the time for me to really try to exercise or excise, I guess is a better word, my resources and try to see what I can do in order to try to make money while I'm trying to find a job. What it also taught me was that finding a job and having just that job as your source of income isn't going to be enough. That there was going to be a need for me to make another source of income for myself. And there was going to be a need for me to create assets and then eliminate my debts and then try to lower my expenses. Because truth be told, there's a lot of things that I had as expenses and even still have that I'm trying to eliminate, of course, that I don't really need. And a lot of people, they feel as though they need it and they feel as though they're entitled to it just because they get a lot of money. But you just never know when something is going to happen. You never know when you're going to lose everything that you have by just having a job. That is why you need a backup plan, and that is why you need to start establishing other ways that you can make money so that if you do get in the situation that you won't have the same struggle. You won't have to struggle like I did and feel very lost and not know where to go. So the following list that I'm going to kind of tell you about here kind of details some of the things that I've done before as ways to make money, but they're also going to detail some things that you can try out yourself that I've heard are also successful ways to make extra money as well too. And I will say that some of these were very profitable for me, and they did allow me to make up the difference in all of the financial issues that I was having. So let's kind of get into it a little bit here. So the first one, and I kind of talked about this one a little bit before in the past, is mystery shopping. So with mystery shopping, again, what you're doing is you're posing as a person who may go into either a car dealership or a retail store or something of that nature, and you are evaluating not only just the facility that you're going in, but the service that you're given and the way that you're held, how everything looks. And then you're evaluating, like as far as like shelving and things like that, you kind of like are observant of your surroundings. Some of them make you check out the restaurants, and then even in some, they require you to purchase an item to see how you are treated while you are at the front counter, and the clerk is checking you out. So you eventually write a report, and then you pretty much get paid from there. And every company does it differently. If you guys are looking for just a couple different companies that are good for mystery shopping. I'll put the links here, like in the description, but I'll also tell you about them. You have Bestmark, you have IntelliShop, and you have Brand. Those are all really good mystery shopping companies that you all can kind of get started with. So that's one way. Another way, and I know some people like doing this. Some people this is not really for them. Is Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft are great side hustles, and they're great ways for you to make money on a kind of a money crunch, like when you really need it. Because with Uber and Lyft, like you get paid weekly, but then you can cash out at any time for like I think it's like 50 cents for each one after you've done a certain amount of drives. So with both Uber and Lyft, they are the reason why they are great ways to make money is because you have flexibility, you have the freedom to make your schedule and work whenever you want to, and then you also have the ability to network with people. So it really puts you into the mindset of being a business oriented person. I recommend it as a side hustle because you can make a nice bit of money if you do it enough and if you're in the right areas and you kind of know the game well. So what I'm going to do for Uber is I'm going to post my Uber code and I'm going to post my Lyft code as well on to the description, so you all will be able to get those and kind of get a chance to see what it's like for doing both of those, because I actually have done those before as a means of making money. So the another thing, and I haven't tried this one out, but I've heard that it has good results and you can make a decent amount of money with it, is website testing. So people are looking for, and these companies are looking for detail-oriented individuals who want to be able to check these websites to see if they're functioning properly and they have good navigation, as in people can go onto these websites and see if they can easily get to where they need to. Like if they need to contact somebody, that's pretty simple for them. If they want to pay for something per se on the website that's advertising a product, they can do that as well. So you're checking basically those things. And from what I hear, a lot of these, I think, are paying like $10 for every time you check a website based off of whatever their criteria is. So I'll put it in the description once again, but I would try out user testing or userlytics. Those two companies do website testing if that's something that interests you. If you want to do something from home, because I know how expensive it can get to kind of run around and do Uber all the time. So that's just one thing. So then there's also writing articles for websites. So some websites are allowing people who are either bloggers or just general writers, allowing them to post interesting articles and based off of a criteria that's expressed to them, and then you get paid based off of what you basically put out. So a lot of these companies, they require you to take an English test to test your skills to see how you would measure up as a person who is going to be a writer for their company doing articles. So I can tell you from experience that TextBroker will is a good site that will put you on a scale to see what your writing abilities are. I'm a pretty good writer myself, and I did hear that the people felt the test was very difficult. I was given 4 stars out of 5, and like they give you assignments based off of your quality of work and how well they feel like you perform, beforehand when they give you that initial test. And then you can get certain articles and get paid money for them. So I think some of them were $3 to $8, and then I think it can either go up or down from there depending on what your skill level is. And you need to be careful though when you do these, because if you are putting out subpar content, you can drop your rating. So you can drop down to a 3 or a 2 or a 1, and you can also go up as well too, depending on what you put out as well. So that's something else to think about as well. So the next way that you can make money outside of, if you are unemployed, of course, is you can donate plasma. For me, I'm a very squeamish person about this, but I don't really like needles personally, and I've had a bad experience when I was in high school and I tried to give blood because I have small veins, and This lady who was, I guess, the doctor, she kind of missed my vein, and I think she lightly hit a nerve, and it caused my arm to swell up. So I feel a little weird about it, but if you're somebody who doesn't care anything about this, and this is a good way to get some extra cash, and people do it all the time. You can donate plasma, and I believe that around here is there's a BioLife plasma facility, and you can go in there and tell them that you're there to donate plasma, and you can get an extra. I think the first time you do it, it's like $25, and then some places vary. Some places say you can make up to $35 each time you go, and then some places say $50. And I think there's a limit also set on how many times you can do it. I believe it's 2 times a week, but again, don't quote me on that. But you definitely can make a little bit of extra cash if you need it by donating plasma. So that's another thing to kind of look at. The next one I want to talk to you all about is apartment testing. For apartment testing, it's essentially somewhat similar to mystery shopping, and I would even argue that some mystery shops require you to go into apartments. Apartment testing is when you go into facilities and you see how you are treated, and you see how the service goes. So is the person showing you around, are they showing any type of discriminatory behaviors? Are they showing any type of prejudices? Is the place that you're looking at clean and neat and tidy? Is the place that you're looking at available? I guess at that time for people to start renting. So it's a great way to make money, and from from what I know about it, you can really get a good idea of like your area and like how the process is for renting there, like how much the apartments usually are and then what they look like and things like that. So this one kind of is dual purpose, so it allows you to kind of get a good feel for what the environment is like, living wise, and then being able to just see how you're treated, going in, and how the leasing process works in certain places. So that's another one that you might want to try out as well too. And I would do a couple Google searches and look into that one, because your way of getting into that may be different than mine would be. So the next one I want to talk to you about is research tests. So again, this is another thing that you would do in your area. So there's a lot of facilities that have you come in, and they have these research tests that they do. So they may have you test certain items that haven't been released to the market. For example, they may say, come here and sample food. We have these new potato chips, and just sample these different types of potato chips. Or they may say, come in here and we have different slices of pizza, and you try these different slices of pizza. Or we have different types of coffee. So we'll provide the sugar, we'll provide the cream, and then you'll try them, and then you rate them and things like that. So with these types of tests, they can range and they can vary in price. They can be as low as about $20. They can be as high as somewhere around 100-ish. So you can really make some decent money if these are available in your area. Now, they are pretty limited. Like a lot of these things on this list, they are extremely limited. And you don't have the utility to continue to do it over and over again like you would some of these other things. Like for example, Lyft or Uber. You can do that whenever you want, however you want. And the only thing that kind of varies is your clientele, because you just need people who need to have rides done. And I guess the only other way to make money from it is referrals, but that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about for another day. Anyways, so for the research test, I would Google your city or wherever you live at. So, if, for example, you live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I would Google that and say research test. And I know for instance, in Grand Rapids, there are two facilities that both do research tests, and they'll give you cards, basically like Visa cards, and you'll get money for spending maybe like an hour sampling these different tests that they have for you, and they're always different. So I mean, the food thing is a very common one, but they can be other things not related to food as well too. So the next thing, which is very similar to the research tests, are clinical trials. So this is one that if you're a risky person, I would say do it if it's something that you're comfortable with. For this one, you can make anywhere between $50 to $300, just depending on how much they're offering. But with clinical trials, a lot of people are testing people who are either sick or sometimes even healthy, and they may have a pill or a drug or some type of I guess supplement that they're trying to see how it works. So in other words, they're using you as a human guinea pig, and you're testing these things to see if they are, I guess, meeting the expectations that I guess the people who are doing the trial are hoping that it will meet. So in other words, it's something that if you would have to do your research on, and if you want to do it, I would encourage you to strongly research first before you get into it. But and of course the side effects as well too. But you can definitely make a decent amount of money if you're doing it. So I'll post a link here for that as well too. But if you want to participate in a clinical trial, I'll say it out here too. You can go to centerwatch.com. And again, I'll type that here and then I'll put that in the description as well too. So another one that you can do is you can deliver phone books. So this one, of course, is not very luxurious. And I mean, not a lot of these are very luxurious, but they definitely teach you how to make like an extra income kind of on the side. But one thing I do want to say, sorry about this, my I guess iPad was acting kind of weird. So while I was recording the video, it was telling me about my battery life. But anyways, so just going to kind of wrap this up here. So to deliver the phone books, you can go to www.deliverphonebooks.com. So for this hustle, you can see if there's one in your area. If you go to that website, and so you can sign up and see it. And then they'll tell you when they want you to do certain routes, and when they want you to or where they want you to perform more so, or and put these phone books in what houses, and then you can make money based off of that. And they say that you can get paid about 5 times a week, so that's also available to you too as well. So that's something I would try out if it interests you. The last one I want to talk to you all about is delivering groceries. This is a very new one for me personally, and I like it, but it is something that's kind of similar to like how Uber and Lyft and things like that operate. So you can go to ship.com and you can sign up to become a ship shopper. But essentially what ship shoppers do is they deliver groceries to different people who make orders online. So or through the Ship app. And what happens is you go in and you go to the store. This is Myers for Shipt. I think there's one called Instacart as well too, but it's not in a lot of cities. I think Shipt is really growing into a lot of cities, so it'll be easier for you to kind of get into. You deliver groceries to different people's places, and so so you would go in there, you would shop them, and then you would take it to them, and then you get paid based off of, I think it's a ratio of time and then how much they actually offer on the app for it. So for example, it could say in this metro area, they'll pay you between $10 and $15 to do an hour and 15 minutes worth of work. That's just giving you an example. And sometimes they do promo pays. Sometimes they'll say, they'll have like specials where they'll say, hey, it's going to be $10 on every shop that you do. And then if it comes crunch time, which this is what a lot of people do, when it gets to crunch time, they'll add on more money because they know that you're pressured to get it in on time. So you originally see a fee that says, oh, you may get $5 to $10 when you initially do this. But then there may be a promo that says $20 extra. So then it really becomes worth it if it's only like an hour or 45 minutes worth of work. So that's something else you want to look into as well. So those are my 10 ways that you can think about trying to make money if you're unemployed. What this basically tells you is that there's always a way, and you just have to go out and you have to just try to find it. And I know it's difficult, so I'm not going to sit here like everybody and act like, oh, well, it's your fault if you can't find it and this and that. I'm not going to do all that because it's very difficult. So there's no need to sugarcoat how hard it is to understand that concept. But just know it is out there. And my job is going to be to provide you with ways that you can go and get it the way that I did. Or if you get into a situation that I did, I can give you my knowledge and my wisdom about how I dealt with it. So again, I'm hoping that these ideas help you. I'm hoping that it helps someone. And I'm hoping that it brings you kind of out of a hard time until you can get right and get in the space that you need to get into. Because I know exactly how that feels. I know how difficult it is. And I also understand that other people don't know how difficult it is. So again, I sympathize with you guys, and that's why I want to be able to help, and I want to be able to do things that are going to kind of give people the means to start making decisions to change their life in the way that they want to see it fit. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got a chance to learn something. And if you guys like this video and want to see more, I want you all to subscribe to The Hustler's Perspective. If you guys want to see all the latest and greatest updates on Facebook for this video, then you can follow me at The Hustler's Perspective YouTube channel. If you guys want to see a written version of everything that you see here, you guys can follow me at the blog, thehustlersjackpot.com, and I'll post that link up here as well too. And if you guys want to see the latest and greatest updates on Facebook for that, you can follow me at The Hustler's Jackpot. If you want to follow my Instagram page, you can follow me at The Hustler's Jackpot. And if you want to follow me at my personal page, you can follow me at Cool Colas. Hope you guys are having a great day once again. Hope you guys get to enjoy this summer weather and this hotness. I want to call it hotness because it's really hot, and you can see me wiping my forehead throughout the video because I'm sweating. Hope you guys are able to enjoy that before it gets too dark. I know it's like 8:30 here in Michigan. I don't know what it is in your city, but anyways, you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you all later. Keep hustling.